Hey everybody, it's Doug here. Welcome to the channel. I appreciate you joining me for our second episode of the new season of Kingdom Death Monster. And in this episode, our four survivors here are celebrating as they return from their victory over the white lion that accosted them in the wilderness. Now they're searching for something valuable, some way to live, some way to sustain themselves. So we're going to continue on. But first, I'm going to do a little commercial interruption to talk to you about something. I'm going to tell you right now, guys, this is the way it is. I know everybody really loves this game, very passionate about it, and I love the fact that you guys want to post corrections and tell me how to play the game. That is fantastic, by all means. But I'm going to tell you right now, there's a lot that goes on in this game. And even when you're trying to do a playthrough, even the simplest game, you're going to make errors. And I'm not going to continue to do massive corrections. Just enjoy the story, guys. Enjoy, have fun with it. I will do the best I can, but that means it's going to be imperfect. Okay? So that being said, and I'm still trying to get well, but that being said, we're going to continue on. And I do hope that you continue to post and help people understand when I maybe made a goof or something. But let's not harp on it. I don't need to hear about it 4 or 5 times in the same thread. So, guys, while I appreciate it and understand it, let's just have fun and enjoy the game. All right? All right, so let's go on. Now, what happens next? Our 4 survivors, they killed the white lion, and we continue. So it says, I'm going to start to read to you what happens in the next steps. So we were victorious. Survivors are victorious. That is awesome stuff, right? So we already did this. We collect our rewards by scavenging the monster's corpse. The survivors earn resources. This is in addition to any resources earned from critical wounds during the showdown. Take out the white lion resource cards. We did that. Take out the basic. We did that. Okay. Place all the resources face up on the table. We've done that. If the players lost survivors in the first story, they can create new survivors in the settlement. We don't have to worry about that. The pair survivors' gear and resources are not lost. They are returned to the settlement with the remaining survivors. Turn the page to create your settlement. So we're about to get started with that. Let's have some fun. This is really one of the most enjoyable parts of the game is building your community and building what happens in the game. It's really neat, and this is where all the story really takes place, because the showdown is a big fight, and it's fun. It's really fun, but this is the fun part. So what we have here is the settlement board, and this is the new settlement board. This is the one that came with the 1.5 edition. It is not paper. It's actually a fold-out board, like a normal game board would be like, and that's pretty cool. And you can see that our 4 survivors are here getting ready to return from the hunt that they were just on. And it's the first thing we have to do is we place the settlement board, and then we read this card here. This is the first day, and we're going to talk about this and go through it. Let's read this for you. It says, the first day settlement event will help you set up your settlement. It's the first event of any new campaign. So we're going to take these steps. We're going to do the settlement event, but first we're going to take these actions here. So first thing we look at is survivors returned. So we move them up. They have all returned. Okay, we've set up for the settlement. It's all ready to go. We've got everything ready to go. The next thing we do is we move forward and we collect our endeavors. There's 4. There's 1 per returning hero or survivor, and those are things that are going to allow us to develop our settlement. Okay, then we update the timeline. Now, what does that mean? Well, we were in Lantern Year 0. So I have the timeline here, and you can see that here we're going to be moving into this Lantern Year 1, right? First day returning survivors, and there's something else we're going to have to read. So we update the timeline, and that is as simple as checking this little box here. So we're going to be doing Lantern Year 1 now. So technically, Lantern Year 1 comprised of the first hunt that we did and our returning first days. And then we're going to go on a hunt phase, a showdown phase, and then we'll go into the Lantern Year 2 component of it. But let's play this out and show you how it goes. Okay, the next thing we do is we update the death count. Well, we didn't lose anybody, so we don't have to worry about that. Then we draw our event. Now we know that this first game, this is going to be our first event. So let's check that out. Okay, now we're caught up to this moment in time. The survivors wander, drawn to a blooming light in the distance. They find the scene. Oh, sorry. Let me restart this, guys. Okay, hold on. I want to read it right to you. The survivors wander, drawn to a blooming light in the distance. They find the serene comfort of a towering pile of lanterns and a small collection of scared people. On a deep instinctual level, they know this area is safe and they make it their home. So we're going to roll a d10 to determine your starting population and record the results on the back of the settlement record sheet. Choose and record genders for the unnamed survivors. You may name any unnamed survivors and create their survivor sheet at any time during the settlement phase. So we're going to roll here. We have to make a roll. Let's go do that. And by the way, we're going to make a lot of rolls that are going to determine a lot of very, very random things that are going to happen to us over the course of this campaign. So we rolled a 4. Well, that's not going to be great. That's right down the middle of the road. It says we're going to have 8 unnamed survivors plus the returning survivors. So we're going to have our 4, and then we're going to have another 8. So here on the back of the population sheet is our population, right? So let's label our first 4 so we know we have, and I know we shouldn't get attached to them, but we do. We have Angus, who is male, and we'll make some notes on them later. We have Percival, who is male. Then we have Shara, who is female, and Annabelle, who is female. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, right? And we'll say we'll do, since it's even, we'll just do, right now we're even, so we'll do male, 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 female, 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 female. So we have a completely even population there. Okay, that was the step that we have. Okay, now we continue on. Return to the settlement section of the first story and proceed to the returning survivors. The first day settlement event card will not be used again during this campaign. Do not include it in the event deck, which is up there. Okay, so we're going to go to the first day storyline, the survivors return, and see what we do. Okay, here is our returning survivors event. You can see that we found the stack of lanterns that are lighting the way for us. We feel we found a safe place. So it says first words. The nominated survivor steps forward and gains +1 courage. So we have to nominate a survivor. We know that this is going to happen. The survivor speaks the first words. I think that we're going to. I think we're going to make that. Okay, for the interest of story. Now, okay, another thing I'm going to preface. I don't do everything in the game purely for strategic reasons. I also do it for the story and for the fun. Now, oftentimes, the person who becomes the leader in the settlement is not someone who's going out on hunts all the time. But we do have to decide who this is. And I think for the sake of the game, to start off, we're going to use Angus. Angus is a battered, grizzled veteran already who came back with a broken leg. And it's going to give him +1 courage. Now, he will be going on other hunts. He's still one of our top guys. But let's take a look at this. The nominated survivor steps forward and gains +1 courage. They lead the other survivors in learning to speak to one another. They discuss their situation, realizing they must hunt to live. Add the white line to the quarry list on the settlement record sheet. Well, it already is. It's already marked under quarries. And your settlement gains the language innovation. Search the innovation cards for language and place it face up in your play area and record it on your settlement sheet. Okay, so here is our first innovation of language. It says survival limit +1. Well, we have to do a couple things on our sheet, and we'll do those in a moment. It says all survivors gain the encourage survival action. That means we can speak to each other now. So we can encourage each other, hey, get up, come on, you got to get up, and we can help each other when we get knocked down, things like that. It explains it here. Encourage. Once per round, if standing, spend 1 survival to call to a non-deaf survivor. They stand if knocked down. See details in the rulebook, so we know what that does. Add language consequences to the innovation deck. So now I have to go and find all of the language consequences and add them to our growing deck of possible innovations. But before we do that, we're going to increase our settlement. Now, I haven't given the settlement a name yet, but we're going to increase our survival limit to 2. That means everybody can have a +1 survival, or 2 total survival. And then we're going to go through some things, and I need to write back under our innovations. Language is already on there because it's the first one you get, and then we continue on from there. So we're going to build the innovation deck now. Okay, so here is our current innovation deck. We pulled out all the ones from language, so we have the ability. I'm not going to go into all these now. I'll go into them as we can innovate them, and we'll probably do one this turn. We got drums, we have hovel, inner lantern, paint, and they all have different effects. Symposium and ammonia. All of these are very good. They're all useful. So what we do with that is we take this and we create the innovation deck. And now you can probably see why I wanted to make this a separate video. This is actually a very complicated portion of the game. Really important and fun portion of the game, but complicated. And you can see that I put our language innovation up there. Now on all of our character sheets, we're going to be marking the encourage box so that all of our characters can now use the encourage survival ability. Because we have developed language. Now we go back to, we built our innovation deck, so let's go take a look at that. Build the innovation deck. The innovation deck represents the potential cultural and technological growth of your settlement. It will grow throughout the campaign as you gain new innovation cards. Find the 6 ones, we've done that. It's ammonia, drums, hovel, inner lantern, paint, and symposium. Shuffle these 6 cards together to form your settlement deck, or your innovation deck. Place it face down the designated space. I showed you that. I do have to shuffle it up, but we've done that. The innovation deck is persistent. It's going to grow. Okay, so the next thing we do is we finish our work in the settlement. We gather around its glowing center. So we're going to take a look at here, the glowing center, and you can see this here. Armed with language, the nominated survivor aptly names the glowing center of their home, the Lantern Horde. The settlement gains the Lantern Horde's settlement location. Search the large settlement location cards for the Lantern Horde and place it face up in your play area. We're going to do that in a moment. The Lantern Horde is the source of all innovation, and further locations the settlement will develop. The nominated survivor sits in front of the Lantern Horde and gains +1 understanding. Well, we're just beefing up Angus right now. I hope it doesn't get killed. So he gains an understanding. That's yet another segment on his sheet. So he has 1 courage and 1 understanding, and that's because he took the heat for everybody, really took some damage, but helped fight off and kill that lion. They must skip the next hunt phase, so he cannot go on the next hunt, which is good because he's hurt. As they ponder the meaning of existence, check off the skip hunt box on the survivor's record sheet. I'll show you where that is. It is somewhere on this sheet. Let's see, I thought it was in here. Yeah, no. Skip the next hunt phase right there. So we're going to check that box for Angus for the next hunt phase. Okay. They cannot be selected with departing survivors. Return to the first story to complete the settlement phase. Okay. So, you know, we've been doing this updated timeline, and we're still not done because while it appears we've completed our first day, we have something else we need to do. The reason being is because we included one of the expansions in our, well, I've included 2 of them, but one of them appears immediately. So we're going to take a look at that. That also happens during the storyline event, and it is called the Approaching Storm. Okay, here it is, guys. Here's what we're going to be looking at right now. Okay, a light appears on the horizon. From its origin, rolling masses of storm clouds approach the settlement, soaking everything in perpetual sheets of stale, smelling rain. Sudden flash floods, burning winds, and periods of strobing lightning continuously plague the settlement, leaving the survivors in epileptic fits. Well, that's not good, is it? You may now hunt the Gorm. Add it to your quarry sheet. So those of you who guessed that the Gorm was one of our expansions, you are correct. And I hinted at that at the very end of the video if you watch the animated segment at the back side. So we are going to go here to this part, and we're going to write down the Gorm. And I'll just put a little checkbox. I'm not writing very neatly. I'm trying to write around the camera, so I apologize. Okay, add the Gorm climate to the next year's timeline. Here it is, guys. This is bad news. We're going to put this right up on top of the events. Okay, not even to show you what it is. Nominate a survivor. Okay, well, we're going to nominate, let's see, we're going to nominate Annabelle. They gain +1 insanity and brave the storm. Here's Annabelle. We're going to put 1 insanity here, and then we're going to take a look at this brave the storm. It says roll 1d10. Let's see what we get. Hopefully we get something good. Come on. A 9. That's got to be good because high rolls are usually good. Okay. The resolute survivor stands strong in the face of the oncoming storm. Struggling against the mighty wind, she gathers the settlement together to build a shelter against the sickening storm. If they have not innovated Hovel yet, the settlement gains the Hovel innovation. Returning survivors gain +1 survival. That's part of, I think that's part of the Hovel innovation, but we're going to get that out and take a look at it. Let's check it out. We're getting to get ahead already because we're taking on some additional challenges with the Gorm. Okay, here we are. So it says again, survival limit +1. So now our survival limit is currently a 3. That is outstanding. We can have up to 3 survival already. The settlement accepts this nightmarish landscape as their home. Departing survivors gain +1 survival. Add the Hovel consequences to the innovation deck. So let's do that. Okay, so here we have bed, partnership, and family, all very, very good. So we're going to add those to our total innovation deck, and we're going to shuffle that out. So we're going to get to do this. And then we also have to get out the Lantern Horde. So I need to grab that real quick, and I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, here we have the Lantern Horde, the Horde, and this kind of explains what we get to do. Now, we can put this up because that was the first event, the approaching storm. So we don't have to worry about that right now. We gain this portion of it, and that's the end of the event. So we're going to put that aside right now. We're going to look at the Lantern Horde and what happens next. So this goes out on the board, okay? Basically, this is the first thing that allows us to innovate. You can see that if we can spend an endeavor, a bone, an organ, and a hide to innovate. Once per settlement phase, you may spend the listed resources to draw 2 innovation cards, keep 1, and return the others to the deck. So we're going to do that, definitely. But this is going to go in our settlement locations, which during this phase is going to appear right here, and it's going to allow us to do some things, right? So I'm going to clear up a little bit so we can get on with the rest of this event. Okay, so we can remove all the events from the board. We kind of see what's going to happen there, but there's this big stack of events. Unfortunately, we kind of know what the next one's going to be, don't we? However, the next thing we're going to do is I already kind of passed it up. The timeline is right here, but we've already gone to update the death count. I did add 0. So then we check milestones and story events. Well, we did that. We've done all of that stuff, right? Okay, now we move into development. Okay, well, the first thing we do is we decide how we're going to spend our resources, right? Okay, and here's our innovation deck, and then we have all these resources that we can spend. As you know, there's a whole bunch of them here that we have. So I do know that we are going to innovate. Now that requires that we spend 1 of our endeavors, plus we're going to need a bone and organ. So here's a monster organ. We'll use that. We need a bone. I'm going to find a generic monster bone. And we need a hide. Let's see. I think I unfortunately, only have 1 hide. Yeah, this is the bad part for us on this one. We have 1 hide. That's this white fur. So there it is. We have basically the resources that we need. Those are going to go away, and we're going to spend this to innovate. Now let me shuffle this up real quick just to make sure that we get it right. And we're going to get to innovate 1 of 2 of these endeavors. 1, 2, or innovations rather. Okay, let's see what we got. We got drums or bed. Okay, let's look at what they do. Drums is a music language consequence. It says bone beats. That means we can take an action here to select one. You drum alone, gain +2 sanity. Rhythmic trance, gain +2 survival. Gain rhythmic chaser fighting art. Or synchronized strike secret fighting art. Not too bad, right? And we add all the drums consequences. Okay, now that's if we spend an innovation point on that to do that. We can't. Then we have bed. We get another survival limit. That would put our settlement at 4 survival, and I haven't named the settlement yet. We got to do that. We can also rest as an endeavor. Nightmares, gain +1 insanity. You know, insanity is actually valuable to us. 4+, you cannot endeavor again the settlement phase. Skip the next hunt phase. You may remove 1 of the following: all broken arm, all broken hip, all broken ribs, and ruptured muscle, severe injuries. Well, we only have a broken leg, severe injury. But I think this is a tough call. I think that ultimately the bed also affects some other things, such as intimacy, partnership, things like that. While I really like what the drum gives us as an innovation, we can get this rhythm chaser fighting art, synchronized strike fighting art. Okay, I think we're going to do bed first. Oh man, I don't know. That's so terrible because we may not see this come up again right away. It's got some good stuff on it. Man, I got to tell you, survival limit of 4. If we can get to that survival, that'd be pretty awesome. But of course, you see, here's one of the ways we gain survival. I do think we'll take bed. We're going to take bed first, just because I think later on it helps us a lot better. So we'll mix that back into there. We have the bed which allows us to do certain things. It also increases our survival limit of our settlement. So our survival limit is currently 4. That is outstanding because we get one base. We got one for language, one for hovel, and one for bed. So we have a total of 4. I just marked that on our settlement sheet. Okay, now we can also look at the other things we can do here. Now, we can spend an endeavor to build the bonesmith, the skinnery, and the organ grinder. My thought is that we use our 3 endeavors to build all 3. That will allow us to then gain some equipment. So here are our 3 endeavors. Now, if I'd taken drums, I may have wanted to do this differently, but I think we're going to build all 3 of those. There are settlement locations that don't require any special abilities other than spending the endeavor. So what does this look like for us now? We've spent all these endeavors and we've gotten these locations. We have the organ grinder, the bonesmith, and the skinnery, which allows us to build a bunch of stuff, right? If we have the tools to do it. Now I know that we don't have any hides left, but we do have a lot of other resources, and we can build some things. So let's take a look at some of the things that we can build. We can do this new one, stone noses, for an innovation, but we spent all our innovation, so we cannot do that. However, we do have, I don't think we can do anything else with the organ grinder. Well, we can, because we still have this counts as an organ. So we could do something that requires 1 organ here for fecal solve or monster grease. Monster grease is very good. It allows you to evade. And lucky charm. All those have value. But let's take a look at the bonesmith too and see what we can get. Because we do have some bone. So I can create a bone dagger, a bone blade. I can actually create a bone axe with a bone and an organ. That's probably one of the things we're going to do. Bone darts. Let's take a look. I think this is where we're going to spend most of our time this turn, is getting some weaponry. So I do have another hide, so I think we can build a one piece of armor. So I'm going to keep this hide. I think we'll look at that in a second. But I do want to do a bone and an organ. Now I have 3 great cat bones here. I do want to build 1 bone and 1 organ will get us the axe. So we're going to do that. Place those there for the axe. We also then have 2 other cat bones. I think I will do. We'll get bone darts and a bone dagger, and I will get those out. Now these 2 other items are going to stay in our resource pool. All the rest are going to go away. We're going to lose them all because we're using them. Let me go get those items out from the bonesmith, and we're going to build a rawhide vest from the skinnery. Now the other thing, later on you can see that we can build other things. We can build a stone circle, the weapons crafter. We have to have additional resources. There's also the Catorium, which we will figure out later. We don't get that from doing the first cat battle, I don't think. I'll have to remind myself on that, but if we do have it, great. I couldn't afford anything from it anyway. Okay, well, maybe I could. I should look at that and make sure we don't get this immediately. I think we have to earn this still. But if we do, we get, see, white lion and great cat bones. Yeah, so we need more white fur. We already had to use it. So anyway, we'll just do it like this. This will be fine. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, we're going to get that the bone axe, the bone dagger, I think, and the bone darts. Let's go do that. I also could use 2 of these instead and build the skull helm, which is pretty nice, but I think weapons are going to be better for us at the moment. Here's the bone axe. It is a weapon melee axe. It's frail though. That's the problem with these bone weapons. It has a really neat ability. Savage, once per attack, if you critically wound, cause 1 additional wound. That's really good. You can see that it has a speed of 2, which means you get to roll 2 dice to hit. You can make 2 hits. You need 6+, and it's got a strength of 3. So this is a very valuable weapon to us. That's going to be our first one. And so now I'm debating, do I build the skull helm or do I focus on the weapons? I think we'll focus on weapons. They are too valuable. I'm looking between the bone blade and the bone dagger. So the bone dagger is not frail. I think we're going to do this because it is not frail. Okay, we're going to do the bone dagger. It rolls 3 dice, needs a 7 or better, and it does 1 point of damage on a hit. On a perfect hit, gain +1 survival. That is really good considering we can have a 4 survival. Perfect hit, an attack roll result lantern 10. So we know how that works. So we have the dagger. And then next up, we're going to build the bone darts, I believe, because we could use a ranged weapon. And they are not bad. They actually have a really good... Now, they're frail too, and we'll see how all that works as we go. But they have a 1 hit. They do 7. They hit on a 7+, and they do 3, strength of 3, and they're frail. So if we do attempt to hit a super dense location and we if we attempt to wound it and we fail, it breaks, basically. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. And the next thing I need to do is get a rawhide vest. Here is the rawhide vest. You can see it puts 1 point of armor in your body. And if I can get another, these puzzle pieces mean something. If I can lock a blue here, when it's a puzzle piece, it means they have to be connected. If I can get another one blue that connects to this, another one red that connects to this character, whoever's wearing this, will gain +1 evasion. And of course you can do that by, wearing the rawhide headband on and the rawhide, I think it's the rawhide gloves. Let me just take a look here. Won't give you that. Yeah, and the rawhide gloves. If I can get those things, then I'll have massive amounts of evasion. So those are the 3 items we're going to get. I'm going to see who we're going to put them on, and then we're going to move on to the next part of the face, because that's all we're going to be able to build this turn. Okay, so knowing that Angus is not going to get to go on the next hunt, I have created Constantine to replace him. Constantine will be replacing him on the next hunt. I'm going to name one of the males Constantine. And we're going to give him some gear too, I think. But let's start with knowing that Angus is not going. So we'll start with Percival, Annabelle, and Shara. So first off, Percival, I think we're going to give Percival the rawhide vest. So he's going to get that on his grid. So we're going to put that up here now. Remember, he lost his weapon, so we'll put that right here for now on his gear grid. He lost his weapon, so we're going to make him our heavy hitter. He's going to get the bone axe. So it really doesn't matter where we put this in this grid right now. And we can rearrange things in between sessions, hunts. So he's going to get the bone axe. And then I think Annabelle is going to be another one of our fighters. So I'm going to give her the bone dagger. And I'm going to give Shara the bone darts, which leaves our new guy Constantine with the basic cloth and founding stone. I'm going to mark all those things on their character cards so that we have them. And then we're going to continue on with the rest of the settlement phase. Okay, so we did all of that. So our survivors can continue down the track. We are going to prepare our departing survivors, which I kind of just did. If there was a special hunt or showdown, it would happen right now. There's not. We record all of our stuff and our resources, and then we end the settlement phase. So that's where the settlement phase is going to end. Next, we're going to the hunt phase. Yes, we're going to hunt. Gosh, I'm going to debate while I'm settling this. Do we go after the Gorm, which is on our sheet, or do we hunt another white lion? We know that we're going to have a Gorm-based event come up in the next session, so we'll see. I'm thinking about that. Might be interesting to hunt the Gorm, but I really think some more experience. Oh, I also forgot. All of us gain, except for, of course, the new guy Constantine, gain 1 hunt experience. I need to mark that on their boards, because once they get another hunt under their belt, they will gain the age benefits. And so maybe we'll go after a white lion first to get that age benefit on some of these guys, which will give us some additional abilities and the ability to gain weapon proficiencies, etc., and increase our survival, perhaps. That would be good. Okay, I think we're going to do that, and we'll go after a lion, but let me clean everything up, and we'll start the hunt phase. We'll do the hunt phase, and then next scenario, next episode, we'll do the showdown. Okay, so this is the actual White Lion Showdown that we're going to be going through as we go into the hunt. So the first thing we have to do is set up the hunt board. I'll do that in a minute, but I want to read this to you. There once was a beast that wanted to feel how soft its fur was. Since it could not reach its own back, it killed many other creatures and spent time rubbing its paws over them. They say that when the monster finally killed a human, it fell in love with their soft hair, and its paws grew into a pair of fine human hands. Okay, now we know that we're going to be doing a basic white lion, and this is going to be level 1. So we're going to have 7 basic AI cards and 3 advanced AI cards. It has a movement of 6 like before, but in this case it's going to have a toughness of 8. It is tougher. We also have the showdown setup right here. It shows that we have to be 6 spaces away, but we also get some terrain. We get 1 tall grass terrain card, which equals 2 tall grass tiles. I'll get those out. 2 random terrain cards set up normally, and we're going to get those out. And then we're going to place the line in the center and place the survivors there. Aftermath, we're going to get all this stuff for a level 1. And then we get the rewards, which, by the way, is the Kitorium. So that is how we get it. If I did remember, we have to kill a real, like, level 1 white lion first. But let's set up this event board and do the first showdown, the first hunt of the game. Okay, so here is the White Lion's hunt deck. Do a quick shuffle of it. We're going to place one of the White Lion Hunt cards here, one here, and for now we'll just place one here just in case he backs up. Not likely to happen, but it can. Now these two are standard hunt events. If we do get to those, which we could, we're going to be rolling on a chart. They're random, leading to a whole bunch of crazy stories. So that's where we're at. So how this works is we're going to pick one of our survivors and we're going to move up as we're trying to track down and hunt the next white lion. Okay, so we're going to pick, now, eager to prove himself and very eager to show that he can be a good replacement for the powerful and mighty Angus. Constantine is going to make the first step. So he's going to move forward and we're going to draw our first event card. What does it say? Scratching ground. Okay. Claw marks scar the ground. The survivors may choose to investigate. Each survivor that investigates gains +1 courage and rolls on the table. Okay, we'll start with Constantine since it was his deal. And he is going to do it. Okay, so here's Constantine's sheet. He is going to gain +1 courage because he's going to investigate the claw marks and hopefully we don't get jumped. Let's roll and see what we get. A 1. So we probably got jumped. Okay. Sifting through the rubble, a shifting stone crushes the survivor's hand. The survivor suffers 1 event damage to the arm location. Well, what that means is this box is already filled for him. Okay. That was a terrible start for Constantine. He was trying to prove himself, got overeager, and already has a point of damage on him. I think, based on that, I think Annabelle, she says, you know what? We do need to investigate this further. We're going to check it out, and we're going to give it a try too. That's going to give her a courage as well. And then we're going to roll on the chart. Hopefully we do better. We don't. That's the same freaking thing, isn't it? Yeah. Well, we gained that, but we also gain a damage on her. Well, do we go run the gamut? 2 people. We can't keep suffering that kind of luck now, can we? So I think Shara says, you know, I'm luckier than you guys. Look how I did in the last fight. I'm good. I'm going to try and check this out too and see if we can do something better. An 8. There we go. Okay. Yeah, nothing happens. And then Percival's going to not do this. Okay. I mean, that's great that everybody got a courage. 3 people got a courage, but we don't want any more injuries on ourselves before we go into the next showdown. We still have another hunt card to go through. So we're going to then end that card. So the Scratching Grounds is complete. We are done with it. We're not going to go any further. And it basically says if no one investigates, we would have rolled a random event. So we did investigate, however, and that means that all of these guys move up. Now we get to pick someone to look at to go to the next one. And I think since Percival didn't take a wound, we're going to do him. He's going to move up. We're going to see what the next card reveals. White Lion Cub. The survivors find a white lion cub. They may choose to slay the cub. If they do, each survivor gains 1 random basic resource. The event revealer rolls on the table below. I think we're going to do it, guys. We're going to do it. Yeah, we're gonna slay the baby white lion, and it starts wailing. Of course, I know it's terrible, but we want those resources. So I think we just roll once, right? We don't roll for every... Yeah, we roll once on the table below. So let me go get the resources out. Now, these are basic resources, so let's see what we get here. 4 of them. That's good. It's worth it. So monster bone, monster organ. I love this one. It could be anything. Nobody knows what it is. It's just some kind of gland or something that we find. It could be an organ, bone, hide, or anything else. And then 4th one is love juice. That's good. That'll help us as we try and grow out our group. So I'm going to place those aside. Each one of our people. Not that it matters, because if any one of them survives, they bring back all the resources. And then we're going to roll on the table. Now let's move them all up there and get them ready. Let's hope we have some good luck. Okay, pray for a little luck here. An 8. What does an 8 do? Hopefully, well, that's probably the best solution. It looks like nothing happens. God, I kind of wish we would have gotten that one and started the showdown immediately. Instead, we get this. So we're going to have to go on to at least one more random event. Not the best solution for us. Okay, anyway, we're going to do that. So that has been done. We got some great resources from it. Now we're going to draw a random event. Now, who's going to do that? I think, well, we already had Percival and Constantine, so it will be Annabelle. Annabelle's going to do this one. Now, basically, we're just going to roll on the chart. So we'll get the chart out, and we'll make that roll. Okay, no peeking. Here's the table. It's got a big table. We're going to roll 2 dice. This will be our 10s. This will be our 1s. So the white die will be the high one. And we rolled a 9, a 0-9. So we're practically on the right spot. Heck, I think I even got it right on the right spot there. Okay, Golden Light is our event. A golden light blinds the survivors, stopping them in their tracks. The light shines from a single source. The event revealer appears compelled to investigate. They gain +1 courage, so this is Annabelle. She gains +1 courage. That's going to put her at 2 courage. That is fantastic, except I know that that usually comes with a price. And roll a d10. If the event revealer is blind, they don't. They walk in the wrong direction and gain +3 insanity. They're not blind, so they're going to roll on this event. Okay, let's see what she gets. Come on, a high number. A 4. 4 through 8. You wander through the light, bathed in a warm, awful feeling. You don't find anything other than exposure. Suffer monster-level event damage to a random hit location. Jeez, man, this is not a good way to start a fight, right? But it is what it is. In the foot. Okay, so she's got 1 point of damage in the legs already. Man, we're going into this lion fight kind of battered up. That's not good for us. And then it says that's it. So that's all that happened. So we did gain a courage, but we took some damage. I almost wish we could turn around and go back to the village right now, but we can't. Okay, so that was the random event. And since the lion did not move, we're going to begin the showdown. Okay, now guys, in the future, I'm not going to spend as much time explaining the settlement phase. I'm just going to run through each segment. I'll probably decide everything off camera and just show you what the settlement ends up getting and doing as we go. But I wanted to show you in detail in this episode because this is going to be the only thing that you see in this episode. We are going to the showdown. We'll do that in the very next episode. So we'll be heading into showdown for Lantern Year 2. I'm going to say Lantern Year 1 because we don't get Year 2 until we return. But our Lantern Year 1 showdown will occur. Woohoo! Hope you're excited. Guys, we'll be battling one more white lion, and then we're probably going to try and take a Gormon in the next turn, depending how we do in this. Hopefully these guys that are gathering courage survive long enough to be able to do something with it. Death is inevitable. Alright guys, I hope you're enjoying this playthrough of Kingdom Death Monster. I hope it's giving you a great overview of what you need to do to play the game, and I'm excited to see what happens next. So take care, and I will talk to you in the next episode.